It's time to proceed with the matches here at the RLCS Promotion Tournament. It's time to go to our beautiful, bearded, brave brothers of magnificent beardedness. We have Subi and Final Carpet.
What an intro, Axel Toss, but thank you. And before we get started, I talked about this a little bit on overtime. There's no bad blood here, no competition. Magnificent.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So don't stress it, guys. We're just saving the planet by not buying shaving cream. That's really all we're doing here. Anyways, Subi, this is a matchup we expected to see, just not in the lower bracket. We expected to see this in the upper qualifying match. You've gotten to watch FIBEON a lot. What is your take on this matchup in general, or just the team?
Well, based off of the predictions, they're going to lose because all the desks picked them. So
that's true.
If we're going with what today has brought us,
if we're going with these cursed fools. Yeah.
But you know, no, FIBEON is very explosive. We saw that in game 1 where they scored, I believe, 5 goals to 0 last match. But you know, it just seems like their offense isn't really firing on all cylinders, if you will, just kind of chugging along. And I want to see them get back to RLRS tongue twister form and really just put shots on net.
Now, do you think that's because the pressure? Because right now there's a lot of pressure on all of these teams, or do you think right now, you know, the competition is just that little bit higher? Right now they're dealing with teams that are at their pace or maybe a little bit higher, since, you know, the slight difference of just the competition they had all season in the RLRS. You know, they obviously didn't have much competition in the scheme of the wins they put up, right? They lost how many all season? 3? 4 entire games the entire season, right? And yes, they're going against teams that struggled in the RLCS, but as we talked about it, you know, this team Allegiance, they still went to game 5s against 2 really good teams. They were able to take a series off of FlyQuest. You know, they really only got swept twice, and it was by the dominating teams that kind of swept a lot of people. So, you know, in the scheme of competition, I think these teams should be really close.
Well, I agree, and just the fact that Allegiance, they went through that adversity, and they had to learn throughout the entire season. They had to change up gameplay, and like you said, you know, they did beat FlyQuest in the end, and that's huge for them. It just goes to show that they worked on things and built up a better offense and defense, and, you know, their roster is just so solid to me. I love this roster, but it's just... yeah, I don't know. FIBEON just didn't have the high-paced teams. They had out of style, of course, but when you only play them one time, you're not learning much throughout the entire season.
And in general, I think FIBEON has a little more weight on their shoulders. A lot of people had expected them to be in the RLCS last season, and now they were in the RLRS, and now they're trying to get promoted. They expected them to be in the uppers, now they're in the lowers. So I think they've kind of disappointed themselves in their own performance and how they were going to perform against Renegades as well. Going against Renegades, I think, you know, they would have at least liked it to be a little bit closer, but these Series 7s are a struggle. But we will see one of these teams will continue on for a chance to get promoted in the RLCS, and another will continue on in the RLRS next season. Now we're going to see fresh out of the gate. We've seen some early goals so far. Will we see one today? Illusion trying to keep up the pressure, but a clear from Chicago. Tyler trying to push it in. See a ball unanswered for a while. Hato, a little antsy for that. Now Chicago needs to follow that up to cut that out. Illusion wanting to try and find Tyler. He finds Ty, and there it is. An early goal yet again. Just barely 30 seconds in.
Great heads-up play from Illusion, seeing Ty wide open in mid, and both Hato and Zol cheating forward, unable to get the touch on that. There it is, first goal on the board. Revenge not looking like it's shining through just yet.
I'm pulling away, Punk. I just called him Tyler. Just take it out of your name. I just want to call you Ty, but every time I say the first syllable, I want to say the rest. But now Chicago taking his time, but not a very good touch. Hato will need to try and control. Instead, he opts for a pinch, and Ty is there. Seabass trying to follow that up, but now trying to patiently take this out of their half. FIBEON wants to get these 50-50s. They want to clear and get that boost. They're going to start struggling very soon if Allegiance will stifle them out and steal as much boost as they can. Seabass going for it. The quick passing play. See Illusion contesting that. Soul and Ty just stopping that mid-air. Chicago there to answer first. Seabass to the backboard. Illusion trying to drop, but just a bit shy. Everyone expected it. A shot almost there, but all 3 FIBEON players on defense will help clear that out.
And what's awesome about these teams, what a save from Zol, is they have so much bad blood between them. Prior to this season in RLCS, they played weekly against each other in community tournaments, so they know each other very well, and FIBEON is looking for revenge.
Ty trying the solo place, but Chicago will corner it. Hato trying to support. He's gone to net, and now he will chase out. He does have time. Illusion staying grounded and passing it over to Zol. Trying the two-man clear, and it works well for them. Allow them to reset. Some bumping in net from Zol, but now Ty. He's got Illusion shadowing in support. Out to the midfield. Zol's going to control. He sees Hato at the mid, but he opts to retreat for boost instead. He's kind of giving up possession right now, a little back and forth right now. Both teams trying to reset. They want to gather the boost and really find a better opportunity to start dedicating a lot of that resource. And
one thing I can say is if you are on FIBEON, you don't want to give Ty the ability to put himself in a 1v1 scenario. He is so good at that, so comfortable.
3 up. Chicago wants to drop this down to Hato, but he couldn't get the angle. Now you see 3 in the corner again, and there it is, a tight angle, but Ty will get there in time. Hato wants to try and keep up this aggression. He gets a hit, but no one to support. Seabass just trying to carry it out with what little he has left. A pass to Illusion, but Zol will clear it out. And now a reset for Allegiance. They should be able to gather some boost coming back to their half.
So far, the teams are trading blows left and right, jab for jab. Hato looking for it, and he saw open net, but Seabass got up in time. So far, Allegiance the only one with a goal on the board as we go into the second half.
The first demolition on Zol. Another one back on Seabass. Illusion just trying to keep it away. Don't let them clear it, especially when you have an opportunity with a man up. Now we're going to see a hard clear. Hato trying to get the drop down, but Seabass answering him. Illusion and Zol fighting in the corner. Zol just trying to keep it in their half. There it is. Giving up possession, going for the clear. Hato will get there fast enough, but Illusion and Seabass will get a pinch out. Trying to keep it in their half. FIBEON want to keep up this aggression. They need to get a goal. 1 goal down, 1:30 left. First game in this best of 7. Who will set the pace for this series? Chicago trying to read it. Hato there with him. Now up for Zol. Zol needs to angle the demolition on the goalie, and they will tie the game up down to Chicago to secure the goal. 1:23 left, and this game is tied.
In this level of competition, there is no such thing as a goal stolen, and Chicago just securing that beautifully for his team, tying this game up. Allegiance a little too spread out and a little over-aggressive in the defensive end, and FIBEON can strike at any second.
Do you feel like FIBEON seems a little bit more at pace to what you're used to seeing them, or is everyone still kind of feeling themselves out, Subi?
They're still feeling this team out because they haven't seen this level of speed in the RLRS. All these teams that they've faced have such a level of speed that is just unmatched.
Zol opting to hit it out, but Seabass there easily to clear it out, but Hato with an angle. Plenty of time to figure out who clears that out. Chicago playing that midfield contest. Zol wants to hit it into the corner, but he will not get the hit. Now Ty and Illusion will try and clear it out. Nice contest from Hato, but no one to follow it up. Seabass gets it clear. Just tries to follow it through, resetting a little bit, giving his team some time to grab some boost. Counter clear as well, some ping pong going on. Now Zol trying to keep it out of the hands of Allegiance. Don't let them get a hard clear. But they did so, and now the redirect onto net, but just off target and 2 in net. Not a very threatening situation, but they are starting to make those midfield plays.
And now it's getting to that point to where basically next goal scored is going to win.
Tough situation for them both. Usually some passive play to teams, but maybe we'll see some aggression. And some nice set plays from both of these teams. At this point with only 5 seconds left, just keep it out of your half. Don't get scored on. Maybe one last-ditch effort here from FIBEON. Will they get it? No. Cleared out. One more opportunity. Nice touch from there. Oh, making sure that he had control. He will drop it. Overtime now. Tied in the first game in this best of 7. Remember, whichever team takes this can continue on and try and get promoted into the RLCS. And someone else's day ends today. Chicago opening up with just an unanswered shot right off the kickoff. 9 seconds into overtime, and FIBEON will take this game.
Illusion and Ty both pointing fingers at each other saying, you got it? No, you got it. And when they're arguing, FIBEON's putting the shot on net, and it is too late for them to get up for that ball. An easy shot to win it in overtime. Honestly, you got to see more from Allegiance in the end there.
I mean, 9 shots to 6. FIBEON just barely beating out Allegiance. But, you know, first game always feelers, especially when there's this much on the line, or I suppose potentially off the line. These players are very close to potentially ending their day. Only this one series away, but at best of 7. A lot of endurance needs to go into this. Some of these teams have been playing a lot already today, I'm sure. Practicing, scrimming, maybe playing a little bit of warm-up games just to make sure. Allegiance and FIBEON are 2 teams that I don't want to say are underestimated, but struggle with maybe consistency from time to time, which is why they find themselves in this situation. Allegiance really struggling in the RLCS league play, and FIBEON struggling in the play-in, doing a fine job in the RLRS. Just an absolutely phenomenal job, clearly. But as you said, this pace will be a little bit faster. Allegiance wants to hold that spot. I mean, this is everything for them.
Well, and honestly, this game, it felt like RLRS. This felt like the FIBEON team that we know and love. Chicago getting the MVP, and you see Zol just dumping passes off for him, always looking upfield. And I love that we're seeing Chicago in that one spot, pushing forward, always looking for the ball. It's so fun to watch these guys. Like I said earlier, it's like junior Cloud9 at times.
Yeah, who would you kind of say is the striker on FIBEON?
100% Chicago.
Chicago?
Yeah, 100%.
We will see the first game has been handed over. Who will take game number 2? Best of 7. One team moves on. Will we see another early goal? This day has just been littered with 30-second goals in almost every single game today. Zol and Chicago seeking each other out. Passing it down to Hato, almost back up to Chicago. Yes. He just takes the shot instead. Ty cannot answer it, and a 15-second goal.
This is the FIBEON we've been waiting for. Chicago seeing Hato pushing forward, and if you look all the way back, Zol wasn't even past midfield, playing so smart, spreading the field, and just making Allegiance put plays on the ball that aren't there.
These early goals, I wonder what's been happening today that makes so many go unanswered. But now we're going to see Allegiance probably pick up the pace and go for those short midfield passing plays that we know them to be so skilled at. But here we're going to see a pass up in the corner. Chicago there to contest, passing back to Zol, but then losing control to Illusion. Hato just stopping that clear, making sure they have control. Chicago putting a threat, forcing Illusion on that backboard, but Seabass there to follow up. Hard clear, reset for his team. Hato not getting the touch, but Zol there to follow through. Another threat on net, but not a very threatening one in the scheme of things. Ty able to clear it out. Now Hato following through. The back and forth begins when neither team wants to commit. They don't see a huge opportunity. Just make sure you gather boosts, spread it out, get the side boost, and retreat back for your own as well.
Yeah, and a lot of times you'll see in the defensive zone, that was a close shot, but it's not over.
Another one. Ooh, Chicago. Nice touch, and Hato there to follow through. Nice defense for FIBEON. Seabass trying to get this. Him and Zol both not able to get there in time, just shy on boost and momentum. Illusion trying to contest off the backboard. Seabass following up. Ty out to Seabass, dropping that back, but Hato will be there comfortably to the corner. Now trying to work as a team. He opts to retreat to net instead. Chicago sees Zol out to the side. Ty facing the wrong direction. Zol to mid. Hato there just to keep it up, not allowing Allegiance to get the counter cleared. Chicago beating them as well. The speed from FIBEON seems to be increasing, and Allegiance is struggling to get to the ball.
Well, and you see that they push the ball up in increments. They'll go one step at a time. They don't get tripped up. They are always thinking just small amounts, chipping away up the field. We realize not every push down the field is going to be a goal, but Allegiance is getting close.
Now you can see Allegiance trying to put the pace on themselves, and there it is. Illusion couldn't get it, and Seabass will get blocked by Hato. Can they keep this up, or will we see a clear from FIBEON? Chicago slung it down. Hato now at the midfield, takes a shot himself, but Illusion will deal with that counterattack nicely, and now another counterattack. Seabass has control. Chicago to contest. The bounce over to Hato. 2 counterattacks in a row, but neither team able to secure a goal. 1 goal up for FIBEON just halfway through.
Oh my goodness, back and forth. The action is intense. You can tell FIBEON wants revenge. They are in this match for blood.
Zol and Ty contesting in the middle. Ty winning that. Seabass quickly up for that. Illusion now just wants to get the drop on. Change the momentum of that ball just to trick the defenders up enough so they can't get the touch they're looking for. Another contest in the corner. Chicago will follow suit. Not a lot of boost, if not any. Hato just getting there in time. We'll see Seabass off the backboard, nice and clinical. Ty in support, Illusion there as well. Ty in the corner can grab some, but Hato easily clearing that in net. Pushing that over to Chicago, and there's a hard clear. Zol needs to answer this. Illusion attempting the drop, gets beaten out. Another midfield passing play. Both of these teams really starting to bring out their tools. See Ty getting it clear, working together. Hato getting some nice control, following that through. Using a little, trying not to use too much boost. He wants to be there for any kind of cherry pick, and here he is. Hato out to Chicago, but Illusion read it well, and he got the hard clear, and they will tie it up with 1:15 left.
Just an inch off on this pass. Hato had the right idea, but it was too far forward, and Chicago couldn't get there, didn't realize Illusion was pushing forward, and sends that all the way down the field to tie this game up.
Tough to anticipate the defensive clears onto net. Generally, you don't really think too much about putting them on target. You just want to clear them. But when they see an opportunity, these players have the accuracy to do so.
Oh.
Seabass dropping this back to his teammate, trying to give them control. See 4 players in the corner, all trying to fight for this contest. Zol at the mid, but choking up Chicago a little bit. That will leave only Hato on defense. Opt to get to the ball quick instead, which I think was the smart decision. Zol in the air again. FIBEON playing so quick on defense, making it hard for Allegiance to break through.
Well, Allegiance really lucked out there. They had the opportunity, FIBEON did, to push that ball down the field, open net. All 3 members were pushed up past midfield, but the shot just was not hard enough to get all the way down into the blue zone.
Both teams playing effective midfield pressure, trying not to allow their teammates, or opponents I should say, to gain control. But 3 in the corner, Seabass needs to clear this. He pushes it to the side. Him and Illusion working as a pair. He wants to find his team in the middle. Seabass is there. He puts it on target, but it will get blocked away. Chicago now trying to get a quick counterattack. Out to Zol, who is there, but just a little too far, and it will get defended by Ty. Another one over the top, but Chicago's going to gain control these last few seconds. Just drop it to the ground in your own half, and he will do. Overtime again. FIBEON in the lead in the series by only 1 game. Will they get another quick kickoff goal?
Let's see if we can get past 30 seconds in overtime.
Even 9. I think last time was 9 seconds. See Illusion, all 3 in the corner, but Ty opting to go and support. He's there to contest, but Zol easily there to defend. Chicago trying to find Hato, who is a bit too far back. Him and Zol almost contesting together. You'll see Allegiance putting 1 up at a time, so long as they have the room and the space, and they are getting so, but there Chicago helping push for the reset. Ty and Seabass. Again, the 2-man clears. Both of these teams doing it very effectively with 2 up. This is off the backboard. Will it get touched? Yes. Tyler will get a double touch through the corner, slowing down the pressure from FIBEON right now. Needed to take this off the backboard. Chicago with the shot. He'll make it through. I wasn't able to look. Was there a bump here on net?
No, it was just a misread. Seabass saw that boost and was like, ooh, that looks pretty. I want some of that. And when he went back to ball cam, it was like, uh-oh, there's a shot coming, and too late at that point. 2
overtimes in a row within 30 seconds of each of them. FIBEON will take 2 games right now in this best of 7. Will they be able to knock Allegiance out of the promotion tournament? This is going to be huge. Again, this is the matchup we expected to see. If you're just tuning in, we're in the lowers right now, not in the uppers. This is who everyone predicted. I myself predicted this on Overtime. You were with us last week, Subi. We all expected to see both of these teams in the uppers qualifier, and then one of them to go into the lowers and be able to take it through. But now only one of these teams will make it into the RLCS. 2 overtimes in a row right now, FIBEON. Low-scoring games for both of them. So keeping up the pressure, but still playing a bit safe.
Well, and Allegiance with more shots on net than FIBEON in this game. And it's just like, FIBEON's so comfortable, they just aren't really worried about the shots on net. Just like, go ahead, take them, because you guys are going to eventually push forward. And we're going to break out, and we're going to do our short little passing plays and just make you turn around and look silly.
And there's that kind of pro and con of playing the counterattack style of, now we have to play defense. It's part of our tactic is playing good defense. But that means one mistake is way worse, right? One mistake lets a goal in as opposed to not letting you score. So you're generally confident on your defense to know that once they overcommit, once you see that 3rd player just go a tiny bit too far, you can get a hard clear. And we saw, you know, the defensive clear that ended up in a goal. So it does happen. But either way, you know, both of these teams are going to really start pushing through, making sure that they have the attacks. But, I mean, when the pressure's on like this, safety is almost always their first option.
You have to play safe. Why get caught with an easy goal against you when you could just sit back behind that midfield line?
Now we'll see right out of the gates who will take this. FIBEON up 2 goals for 2 games in this series, in this best of 7. Will they try and find themselves in a promotional game after this? Chicago trying to fake out 2. Ty just clearing that over 1. Buying a little bit of time for his team, but Chicago will easily beat the 2, but not a great shot. Straight down to Seabass, Zol and Hato. Right now they're just trying to outpace as much as they can. You can see FIBEON getting to these balls very quickly. Illusion finding some room, but puts it directly into Zol's undercarriage. Ty with a contest. Opts to let that go, knows that Hato will beat him. Gets the contest in the corner instead. Seabass there for the pass off the backboard. Will we see a shot? Illusion, but Zol read it nicely, getting the clear, following it up. Now Ty, last man on defense, needs to buy time for his team. Seabass in net, so he's got comfort. He can do what he needs, and he gets a very nice 50-50, clearing it all the way through, and then getting another over Hato. Seabass there for the shot, a demolition on net, but just a bit too high, hitting the crossbar. And now we'll see potential counterattack from FIBEON.
Yeah, and Ty did everything he needed to. He cleared the ball, got the contest, put the pass perfectly in the middle, and took away goalie. But the shot just wasn't there. They need to capitalize on all those pushes down the field.
Going to net, Illusion out to Seabass, but just a little too predicted. He wasn't able to get there in time. Chicago just trying to slow this down, pushing into the corner. Ty wasting a little bit of boost, thinking he had that opportunity, but that should hopefully give FIBEON a little bit of breathing room to gather some pads, get some boost up. But Ty there to contest again, just putting up the pressure. Even if you know you don't have it, you want to make sure that you force the defender to go for it, and they are doing so. FIBEON really struggling to make sure they can clear it out, but here, Chicago beating one, beating two. If you can get this pass out to Zol quickly, they might have an opportunity. Oh, a bit too high, a bit too late. And now Allegiance will control it. Uh-oh, Illusion losing it just a tiny bit. Seabass needing to retreat. He'll push it out. Hato out to mid, keeping that in possession of his team. Trying not to clear it, but Ty will read these passes well. Chicago just barely getting that off the ceiling.
And I love that we've seen Zol 2 times in a row coming down the field, playing the player and not the ball, putting himself in a great position to make a save on the ball. Those shots are on net, they're hard, but he's just in the right place at the right time.
Just past halftime, and we will see no goals have gone up. Relatively low-scoring games for both of these teams as they're waiting for that good opportunity to make sure they don't overcommit to anything too silly. But now we'll see Seabass trying to pump up the pace, Zol comfortably on that backboard. Both of these teams with such good defense, not freaking out on that backboard, taking it slowly and supporting each other without double committing, which a lot of times you'll see a lot of double commits whenever there's a lot of pressure on.
Yeah, and you're going to always see on both of these teams a defender on that back wall. It's just the new meta, and both teams following suit because you cover the top half of the goal, and Chicago needs to just drop it.
Ty needing to wait for that touch. You always need to wait for your opponent, but there we see another 50-50. A little to the right. Not on target, but Seabass will keep up the pressure, knowing they had to panic, and then bumping Chicago! But Hato gets there in time to save out his teammate, who couldn't get there after the bump, and now the counterattack. Wide open, but no one could follow that through. Not enough boost and not enough time. Zol keeping up the pressure, putting it on target, forcing a defender, almost getting the dunk. Hato and Seabass in a little bit of a challenge here. Having a bit of a discussion in the corner. Illusion. Oh. Buying time as well. His teammates now have boost and then kid support. Forcing the corner plays. Another contest. Very well played by Allegiance. Just stifling them out. Oh, this is wide open. Seabass and Ty both going for it. Eventually, the pressure proved too much. FIBEON couldn't get the boost to retreat.
Oh, that's what happened. The triple commit generally going to lead to a goal at this level of play.
Usually that does.
Generally, right. If you leave your net wide open, most of the teams can put it between the dotted lines and put it in the back of the net.
At that point, I think it's on your opponents to miss if you're going to triple commit to anything, especially in your own corner, because you've all put yourself in a tight spot. But this bounce will not prove too well for FIBEON. Oh, but the bump on Illusion will slow them down. Seabass with a shot! And you see 2 players from FIBEON not expecting it. One going for backboard, one staying on the ground. And that will be a 2-goal lead for Allegiance.
Allegiance is just going dirty-minded in this game, completely down in the trenches, crawling through the mud and punching their opponents right in the face anytime they're in net.
46 seconds left. Allegiance looking to take their first game of this series and make it a 1-game series for them, giving them a little bit more life. Looking pretty dire for them up until now, but every win so far has been in overtime, so it's still close. They're still just that 1 golden goal away from taking any of these wins. So FIBEON cannot relax. Oh, and there it is, a 3rd one. Illusion just getting a monster dunk to sink this in. Yeah,
and any time that you're gonna allow 8 shots against you and you only have 3, probably not going to win this game. FIBEON really needs to go back to the drawing board and see what they can do against this new Allegiance team. All 3 members getting involved for them with a goal.
It feels that Allegiance have picked up the pace to match FIBEON. We know they're quick, but there we see a counter kick-off goal. Hato putting one on the board, giving them a little bit of momentum moving forward into the next game, especially since these have all been 1-goal games. If they can score one more, they'll keep up that consistency, but with only 22 seconds left, that will be tough.
I want to see it in the next 11 seconds.
You heard it. You heard it. Subi's made the call. Is he a genius, or does he just have crazy dreams? Chicago down to Zol. The defensive passes. I do enjoy seeing that. A lot of control. Demolition onto Zol as well in the corner, just to stifle them out. Allegiance want to keep this control. Oh, and they will actually. It was almost 11, and it was the wrong team. Maybe you just dreamed the wrong color there. But now we're going to see Illusion and Seabass working together for this. Almost getting saved by Zol, but flipping just a little bit too early. Not having the height on that, and it's looking like Allegiance will take this game.
And normally you don't see a fish on that side of the fishing pole. Baiting the defenders out is Seabass with that beautiful pass down to his teammate Illusion. Running away with game number 3. Allegiance is still in this, and they want to stay in the RLCS.
I mean, being, you know, a quote-unquote elimination match, not entirely from the RLCS or RLRS, but they will not be able to, you know, hold their spot and or get promoted. For those of you that are totally unaware, Allegiance is in the RLCS as of Season 4, and this is their chance to try and hold that spot, but FIBEON is here to contest that and prove that they're the ones that deserved it in the play-in, but they did get beat by Allegiance. This is the rematch right here. Allegiance are the one that knocked them down, and FIBEON were unable to kind of pick themselves up. All of these players relatively new as far as this season's concerned. We hadn't seen them in competitive Rocket League at this level yet in the RLCS, and RLRS is brand new. So I think that's really cool to see 6 brand new faces competing for this spot. Really want to make sure that they can prove themselves.
Well, and what's really cool about this is all of these players, all 6 of them, are players that used to be called the bubble players. Like, if you got matched up against them in matchmaking, it was just like, oh, no, come on, really? Like, they're so good, but it's just they couldn't quite squeak in. And Allegiance did squeak in this season, and, I mean, it just goes to show you that RLRS and RLCS teams really close. When you get to the bottom and the top, it's just there's not really a really fine line between them.
There really shouldn't be much of a gap, and you saw it in the plan just how close it was in the little and the upsets. You know, they were legitimate upsets that we saw in the plan of teams that we all expected to make it in. But we've seen these teams compete and be able to prove themselves all season, whether it be in this tournament or any kind of, you know, other tournaments that were going on. So we know that they're incredibly skilled. But now, Allegiance keeping this a 1-game series in this best of 7. Whoever wins 4 games in this will move on to try their hand at qualifying for the RLCS and getting promoted and or holding their spot depending on which team that is. Will we see another early kickoff? It is kind of the theme of the day. 30-second goals. We'll see Illusion getting a hard clear. Hato there at that midfield. Both of these teams really playing that midfield defense. Zol getting a contest, but Ty having plenty of time. Trying to get that around Zol, and support from Illusion will keep that at mid. Now Seabass, good hard clear for him, but a demolition on his teammate Ty will make sure they're the only 2. So now they can confidently contest this, knowing they've got a man back on defense, whether he wants to be or not. Chicago following this out. Will the bounce work in his favor? It does, but he misses! And Hato doesn't get it either. Now it's up to Ty and Seabass to clear this out. Zol, last man back, needs to buy time for his team. That has to be devastating.
It is extremely devastating. Wide open. You have the ability to open up the game with the lead. And now you turn the ball over, give Allegiance hope, and this game still remains tied.
Hato gaining control, beating out 1. Chicago there for the pass, puts it onto target, but Ty will read it. Him and Seabass slightly double committing, but luckily Seabass found himself landing into net, ready for another shot. Chicago putting that towards another demolition onto Zol. It seems that Allegiance trying to play aggressive, and what a touchdown from Illusion out to the midfield. I was caught off guard. Beautiful play from this team.
And a lot of times, demos in the offensive zone actually go against you if you're on defense, because it just means the 2 men pushing forward can be super aggressive, and that's exactly what happened there. A great redirect from Illusion. 1.5 minutes down, and FIBEON really wishing they had that goal back.
Now we will see FIBEON trying to open up quickly, but Ty putting that out. Not the best spot, but Seabass again. Supportive defense, always there for your teammates. Can't let them defend alone. Oh, Hato on to target, but Illusion was there comfortably for the save, but not a great touch. Still giving them that angle. They want to push it against the wall into the corner so there's no more angle or to a teammate. Illusion just buying his team some time. Zol taking his time with that, but now slight dribble. He's got Hato in support. Can he find him over there? He just gets the dunk instead. And Zol with the solo play will tie the game up.
Feathering the boost beautifully and then runs out and just kind of puts himself in the best position possible. Ty hits it right down to him. Great solo play from Zol.
2 minutes in, it's a tied game now. Allegiance looking to tie up the series. Just under 3 minutes remain. Potential kickoff goal as well. Not a great touch for Chicago, but Zol will be there, right behind him. Illusion and Seabass trying to contest it, even in their own half, not even waiting for the midfield. Tied there again, putting that behind Zol, so no clear will come out of this. They need to follow this up and dribble. Illusion forcing a dribble out of Chicago. Hato trying to push this out. Ty right now, a lot of ping-ponging. Both teams wanted to get some boost, but Seabass there just to rustle some feathers. So Hato getting the clear. Chicago and Zol already following in support together. Ty, pinch into the corner. Illusion will take this from the backboard. Oh, but he won't get the touch. This is tough. Seabass will save them. Not letting his teammate in net, need to protect that. Chicago trying to drop that to the corner over to Zol. But Illusion will get the angle from the corner. 2 goals to 1 now for Allegiance.
Oh, Chicago telegraphed that like he was on the Pony Express, and Illusion comes in just like a bandit and read it so well, putting it on net. I love seeing players swoop in, taking the lines away from defenders and reading the clears.
I mean, if I was on defense and I saw that happen, I would just think to myself, why was he there? That was not an angle that most people would commit to. And there's a defender there, so we had to hit it off the guy. Might have been a bit circumstantial, but either way, the pressure is what resulted in the goal. And now we will see them 1 goal up, Allegiance, with opportunity to tie up this series. Seabass using most of his boost to contest that. Zol needing to control that, but I really like the short passes on defense from FIBEON. The solo play will get blocked out by Tyler. Pushing that to the middle. Seabass there, but it will get choked out, and there it is, the counterattack. Chicago, the quick pass at midfield will tie up the game.
Oh, and I love, you can just hear the communication. Chicago screaming right, and Hato redirects it just right. Complete faith in his teammate, and good heads-up shot from Chicago. You can tell he's been through striker training 1 or 2 times.
I'd hope so. I mean, that is a play that is so difficult to predict because at the midfield there's so many people there. Oh, Seabass nearly getting a shot. No one supporting. Hato out to Chicago, but the pass just a little too far forward. Illusion with a counterattack. Can he get around it? Yes, he can. He will make it over 2 defenders, and Illusion will put them up by 1.
Oh, and they tried the 3-man weave, but Chicago losing the handle on it. All 3 of them were holding hands at mid, and Seabass able to swoop in, and Illusion with the nice 3-goal lead for his team. Is that it?
Hat-trick, I think is the phrase you're looking for.
Well, I was gonna get there.
I mean, dribbles at this caliber just become so difficult because if you're going against 3 people and there's 2 behind the one that you're contesting, he can just freely contest you without even really having to think that much because he's got 2 people behind him. He can just kind of fly generally where he thinks you're forced to make a move, and if he's got someone in support, you will lose control of that. The solo plays are tough if you have no one behind you. Now Zol on the backboard, he will just get there. Chicago not fully trusting him will help him out. Seabass not the touch he wanted, but Ty will help slow that down. He will get a great contest as well. Seabass putting that to the backboard. It will bounce right back out. Illusion couldn't get the shot on target. We'll see a demolition on Hato. He'll be respawning shortly, giving them comfort of a defender. Another bounce right back out. Illusion, can he be quick enough this time? Can he get the double touch? No, he cannot. Answered by FIBEON. 7 seconds left. Can they get this goal to tie up the game, or will Allegiance tie up the series?
Oh.
And Allegiance will tie this series up 2-2 in this best of 7. They each still have to win exactly what they've won. They have to win 2 more games still. These series, I mean, I can't imagine the endurance going through that, like the amount of just brain capacity you need to think this hard for this long, especially when you go to a Game 7, which I assume we will see out of this. but Allegiance are able to take that and yet another one-goal game.
Yeah, and deja vu coming through. FIBEON looking just like they did last series.
Yeah.
They started off so hot and then just fell. And I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know why they're trying to change things up. Just stick to what they know. And it's been working. Don't change things up until the defense starts making adjustments for you. You don't need to change. And they are changing without reason.
FIBEON still had 13 shots on net. That is a lot of shots no matter what level you're looking at in Rocket League.
And one of them was open.
Yep. And that's the devastating part, when you know that you could have had it. And those are, it was a quick read as well. He had to get there fast. So I think, 90% of Rocket League players probably would have missed it, but it's the scheme of, at this level, that consistency, right? Those open nets, those opportunities that are handed to you, as difficult as they are, that's where you need to capitalize, because that's where you start seeing that constant spread of 2 goals, 3 goals. We're just going to beat you consistently. It's really not a huge deal, but you have to make those.
Well, the fast reads are what separates an RLCS team and an RLRS team. Like, you've got to be able to make those if you want to be in the RLCS. You have to be consistent.
I mean, having difficulty in this is amazing to watch how close this is, but just next season, whoever makes it, you're going to have this times 6. I mean, every team you're going against is going to have it. Oh, Seabass will get back. No kickoff goal this time, although I don't want to speak too soon. Ty will clear that out. They want to breathe a little bit. Aleutian will beat Zol, but only in timing, not in control. Hato out to Seabass, off the backboard. Aleutian turning around quickly. Hato's going to take his time, go to the backboard again, clear that out. Chicago in support. Putting that on target, forcing a defender out. Demolition onto Aleutian. Allegiance now playing 1 man down on defense. Hato out to Zol, but he couldn't get the angle. But we see a double commit. They don't have the possession right now to keep that attack on. Another demolition, but this time on to Hato. Chicago sees Zol. He sees him out there, but the demolition onto Zol. This is already such an aggressive game. Yeah, and you saw that demo from Hato come out and where he just was removed from the field. He actually was the aggressor on that. It was a smart play to try and push the offender back to keep this ball on, and they're still up with the pressure, but the cheat up is going to lead to... Oh, no, Chicago got it! What? I didn't think he had the pace to be able to get there. He pops it up into the crossbar. I thought it'd be a giveaway, but it's still not out of their half. The demolition will give them more control, and now the counterattack. Hato to Chicago. Seabass blocked that out and will follow through. Hato trying to get a bit frisky there, trying to bump him out. Ty will beat Zol to this ball. Seabass trying to beat again. Cherry pick right now. Allegiance wanting to keep control of this ball. Don't give it up to FIBEON since you know what they're capable of, and I cannot believe Chicago got that save. That was one, I'm going to go out on a limb here, by the way. That was one of the best saves I have ever seen. Just barely another one, but this time on the other side of the field. Ty and Chicago now working opposite of each other. A lot of time to control, a little bit of ping-ponging now, and Aleutian won't get that. Chicago will read it off the post. 2 minutes in, and FIBEON get the first goal. Look at Chicago coming in and bumping Aleutian, knowing he's the last man back, and he's not going to miss an open net 2 times in a row. He learned his lesson, and there it is, FIBEON on the board first. 3 minutes remain. Plenty of time to tie this game up. Zol and Chicago have plenty of time for this. Aleutian is coming just to put a little bit. He mostly just went up the wall to be in their peripheral. Remember I'm here. I can get this if you let it go. Hey, guys. Chicago now looking for the pass to Zol. Trying to, oh my God, Zol gets a tight angle, forcing the defender with a worse touch than he had. But now they will buy themselves some time. Aleutian getting a circumstantial bump onto Zol, and now a shot on, but Chicago clearing it to the corner. Ty pushing that to 2 defenders who both commit. Chicago giving his teammates some time to recollect themselves. Ooh, no one in net. He will be there, though, before it finds itself in front in that threatening zone. Some slow clears, but still a lot of control for FIBEON. None of these shots very threatening at all. I'm sure there's not much stress in their half, but that means very little mistakes can be made. As the Allegiance really trying to keep it in FIBEON's half. And while there's a little lull in the action, I gotta point out, there's already 9 shots on the board from FIBEON and only 3 in favor of Allegiance. They got 2 on their last push down the field. They're looking to put more on, and Seabass does it, but it's a little high. What a bullet, but Aleutian there to read. Now Chicago and Hato Trying to get that around Ty before he got the angle. Well played, but Seabass, again, the pace right now from Allegiance, knowing they need that goal. They need to either keep it up or maybe get some physical plays to remove somebody. Another beautiful pass mid. Seabass has time, but he opts to go the other direction. He has to get a pre-jump, and he gets it. And now clearing that out with his team. Illusion there will beat out Zol. Just keeping that out of their hands. Almost one more touch. Some ping-ponging yet again. Breathing room for both teams. One goal is not enough for FIBEON to play comfortable. Both teams wanting to play offense instead of defense. Illusion gets a clear and a follow-up on his own. But Hado there, ready and poised. The hard clear. At this point, they'll probably turn to defense with only 1 minute remaining.
Yeah, at this point, you want to go for those long clears down the field, long plays to open things up, and just try and take every precious second off of the clock. Right now, it seems like Allegiance cannot push into their own offensive zone.
FIBEON now only going to contest the balls they know they have control of, but Allegiance will probably be overcommitting. Only 30 seconds left to score this. Illusion will get there just in time. Seabass. Nice touch from the wall. Illusion contesting. Hado and Chicago at the wrong angles. Can he get this pass? Just a bit too hard on that 50 pinch. Zol and Hado off the side. Ty slowing that down, but is it enough? Chicago with a shot. Seabass retreats in time. Chicago trying to put that in the hands of Zol, who will clear this out. Hado wanted to follow suit. A weird jump, but no one's there to contest. And now, Allegiance with 2 seconds left. Can they keep this off the ground? Ty gets a touch. Hado with the shot. Oh, now they have a lot of room to breathe. Get some boost, but no one's there for it. They will not keep that up. And FIBEON will take their game 3 in this game 5, 1 away from moving forward and potentially knocking out Allegiance.
They can breathe a little sigh of relief, but don't get too comfortable, because Allegiance is now being put on match point, are going to put everything on the table. They're going all in right now.
As far as the way the FIBEON's been playing, are they sticking to the roles that you'd seen them comfortably? Are they bringing out some new stuff since they're going against a different team? What are you seeing, Subi?
This is the team that we know and love from the RLRS. Chicago on top once again. Hado and Zol kind of filling in the 2 and 3, but you just let Chicago do what he needs to do. Open him up, just say, hey, go down the field and we'll hit you with a pass. It's just so fun to watch them. You're seeing the passing plays develop. You're seeing them play smart. You're not seeing any triple commits, which is extremely important against Allegiance.
I'd like to hope to not see triple commits much at this level, but it happens.
It does happen, but the one time we did see it.
Yeah,
and
it happened.
Allegiance capitalized right away. So they need to limit those, but this team is on point now.
And on the side of Allegiance, you know, we'd seen Illusion get a lot of highlight plays, as well as Ty Not Tyler. I'm sorry for calling you Tyler a few times, buddy. Me and Wade Punk are apparently a little cursed today with the Tyler rule. We'd seen them do the highlight plays, and they're doing it again. A lot of those really nifty midfield passing plays to get creative to the net. But when both teams are under a bit of a panic, you see them resorting to those hard clears, giving up possession, which I think is a smart option most of the time, to be honest. But we will see. Only 1 game to bring one of these teams forward and to eliminate another. FIBEON looking to end this now. Can Allegiance keep up with it?
FIBEON's looking for revenge. This is so important to them.
This really is. The team that knocked them out in the play-ins, or knocked them down, I should say. They want a bit of vengeance. We'll see Chicago take his time. No one contesting. He's actually going to opt to ground this. He gets one more touch over Ty. Nice solo play, but no support there until one more touch later. Zol, nice cross there. Even with 2 defenders, he's now forcing them out of net. If Chicago can get this, it could give them some more. Out to Chicago. He might get a redirect. He opts for the pass, but Zol had bailed on the play. Not totally ready for such a gentle touch from his teammate. Seabass trying to contest. Zol wants to gain control. One person in net, Hado. A little bit harder than I think he would have liked, and that's going to be on target. But again, no one shadowing that up for the 50-50. Illusion trying to just get it around the 1. He gets it around 2. Chicago there, push it out to Hado, and now they're going to turn this into a passing play. Oh, but again, all 3 coming up for it. We'd seen them do this once before. They need to be very careful. Another hard clear. We see a lot of this in the half of FIBEON right now. Trying to push this out. Trying to get hard kind of, oh, here we go, another miss, but Seabass, another hard clear. Both teams playing very passive, which is what I'd expect, being this close to either winning or losing. 1 game separating the fate of 2 teams.
it's funny to watch both of them on defense. Like, nobody leaves the box, it seems like. Like, we're going back to preseason 1 where, you know, Gibbs would shine in the defensive box playing goalie.
Oh, don't give him too much credit.
I'm sorry.
He's smiling over there, raising his eyebrows. Lucian to the corner. Very nicely done considering his teammate had gotten demolished. But Seabass coming back, getting respawned a little out of wits. We'll see Zol actually go with his teammate, but he might get one more touch. 2 going for it, but not a very threatening play when they know they're right next to each other, and Chicago forced to drop back to defense. So they knew the third wouldn't be there. Lucian with the flip cancel to try and get a nifty touch over. Seabass, last man, just trying to buy time, and he will. Now Zol, last man. How's the 1v1 going to commence? Zol getting there just in time. Ty putting on the pressure. Chicago there to contest while Hato pulls that out. Now we see this midfield defense from Allegiance. Going to make it very hard for FIBEON to find time to grab boost.
Oh, what a save.
Oh.
He was already in the air before the shot was on net, reading the opponent perfectly.
And that is a difficult place to be in. Any pre-jump is always a risk. Ty, solo plays, just keeping control, pushing it into the corner. No hard clears from them, keeping his body behind the ball so they can't find possession. Chicago over 1, but not over another. Ty down to the corner. Again, no one supporting. Both teams playing much more passive than we've seen earlier in this series. Lucian to the mid. Back over to his teammate, but read well by FIBEON. And now this could be tough. That is open in the midfield, but Lucian will find himself there first. Lose possession in his pace. So on to Ty, but that's not a great drop. Ty will get there around. Again, no one supporting these passes. They're playing a bit too passive.
You know what I'm loving right now?
What, Zuby?
You know, I'm loving that we're seeing zero ego Rocket League. No player on both of these teams really cares about being the MVP. They just want their team to win. I love the team mindset.
I mean, there's too much on the line right now for you and all of your teammates. And if you like your teammates, you don't want to let them down. So when you go for the star plays and you miss them, that's almost worse than not going for them at all. But now we'll see Lucian get a great 50-50 in the corner, clearing all the way to the other side. But no one's supporting that again. Zol getting it around 1, but Ty there, shadowing that. Another great touch. These defensive touches from both teams are keeping this game very quiet indeed. 1 minute left. Not a single goal has been scored. FIBEON looking for just the 1.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Did it work? No, 3 in net. And here's a counterattack opportunity, but Zol finds it in midfield. Not a great contest. Lucian following this up, but he did not have the boost to get there in time or the speed. Ty trying for the rebound, but no one got there. Seabass will push that through a defender. 30 seconds left. Allegiance could stay alive.
Great shot on net to pull the defender out. Ty looks like he was going to get the second touch, which made Zol hesitate just slightly and gave Seabass enough room on that close post to put the first shot on.
Everyone giving that ball the Medusa deaths there, not knowing exactly where it's going to go, whether the first player would get the touch or the second player would, and he couldn't read it. And now Ty trying to just put these on target, keep the threat up, do not give control to FIBEON. Trying to bring this to a game number 7. Can FIBEON gain control? Chicago down to Zol, almost back to Chicago, but he couldn't ground himself in time and get control. Now we will see 5 seconds left. Chicago trying to clear that out with his teammate, having to overcommit. They will concede another goal. The Market due to Pooh goal, and it looks like Allegiance will bring this to a game number 7.
Exactly what you want, exactly what everyone expected. Game number 7, everything on the line. FIBEON versus Allegiance. And I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've probably said it 3 times. This is all about revenge for FIBEON as they were knocked out by Allegiance in the play-ins.
And just a quick recap, this is a best of 7, so this next game will determine who moves on. They don't even qualify. This is just a match to move forward into a potential qualifying match, and whoever doesn't will be in the RLRS. So either FIBEON will stay there or Allegiance will lose their spot. This is the 2 teams that everyone here at the analyst desk, at least for overtime, had predicted to be in the upper, predicted to make it overall. And now we will see one of these teams go home. Allegiance, technically in my heart, that was a 1-goal game. That last one, I mean, FIBEON has to give it their all at the end. So you will see them concede that last goal. But every single one of these games being close. But now you see the passive plays coming out of both of these teams.
Yeah, you just saw FIBEON really let off the throttle when they should have just increased it and put the pressure on. They were really in the driver's seat right there. They could do whatever they wanted. If they lose, okay, we're going to Game 7. But if we're super aggressive and put shot after shot after shot, let's see what happens. And instead, they went the reverse, and in my opinion, that's the wrong route to go.
I never know how to feel in a situation like this. Do you play the safe game and assume that with the nerves your opponents are going to mess up and capitalize, or do you play your game and then force them to panic?
That's why I'm sitting here, because I don't have to make those decisions.
There really is no consistent answer. I've seen teams win in both ways, and I think that's the toughest part. You always kind of want to play in your safe zone. What are you good at? What have you guys been practicing the whole time? You probably want to go for that. But if you're against a team that's kind of known to panic a bit or overcommit, maybe defense is your better option. Both of these teams have proven that they can deal with it very, very well, keeping these games so close, low-scoring games, every now and then getting beat out by a demolition or a mispositioning. But here we go, the final game, Game 7. Who will move forward and who will get knocked out of the promotion tournament? Seabass at the midfield, wants to find a teammate. At this point, just keeping control, but no one there to support. Not seeing a great opportunity. Chicago and Hato both going with a pinch. Will go in their favor as Zol follows that up. Illusion couldn't beat Hato to that ball. Nice contest. Ty slowing it down. Now he'll find him and Seabass in the same position. Double commits from both sides, but they want that first goal early.
Yeah, I want to see, oh, there it is. FIBEON opening up the net, but Seabass with the perfect rotation, supporting his teammate. Oh, but the onslaught of shots is not done from FIBEON.
Zol finding a good angle, turning around quickly. They're just going to start taking shots now since they know the demolition came. Not a lot of control right now in their communications probably, and they're losing out on boost. Hato opting to pass this, but no one there to support. Chicago just finding the weak touch from defense. Out to Zol, very far from the defense of Allegiance, but they will get a hard clear. Now it's up to Hato. Buys time for his team. Chicago, not a great touch. Ty will take the solo plays. The beautiful 50-50 pushes it through, and they are now 1 goal up.
You know, I brought up the fact that he is a great 1v1 player and puts himself in great position to constantly put pressure on the ball. Doesn't need a teammate, needs no one other than himself. And Ty, not Tyler, putting the first shot on, first goal for Allegiance.
All of the pressure now on FIBEON. If they do nothing, they will lose this game and the entire series. So it's up to them to turn this around. Illusion trying to stifle that attempt. Zol finding a nice time. Oh, almost putting that on target, but Chicago is there, forcing Ty to come up for it. Seabass on the backboard, and Illusion there to support. Always looking for each other and always there to support. Illusion just there to make sure that his teammate wasn't clearing that out for no good reason. Now we'll see Zol slowing it down, getting his team some time to get in position. Seabass contest, but Hato will win that 50-50. First to touch this will be Allegiance. Not a great clear. Chicago will follow that through. Actually, City gets a demolition on one. Will this panic them enough? He spawns on the other side of the pitch. Oh no, someone is back, Chicago. He's got time. Nice hard hit up into the air. Demolition onto Illusion. It's now a 3v2. Zol wins that contest. Illusion in the corner now with his teammate. Hato fighting that with Seabass, who wins that 50-50 handedly. Nicely placed, safely in the corner. Tyler at that midfield. Again, keep up the pressure. Don't allow that reset. Seabass and Zol doing a bit of a tussle. We'll see Tyler turn that around. Tries the solo play. Chicago and Hato. Chicago letting Hato go for that with the better angle. Good decision. Now Chicago will clear this out. Slowing down a bit, both teams breathing a little bit, and FIBEON looking for that prime opportunity.
And now that we reached the second half, expect to see FIBEON start to ramp up the aggression. They realize everything is on the line at this point. If they do not get a goal, they're dropping down to the RLRS once again. They don't want to be put there again, and Chicago couldn't find the ground pinch.
We'll see a third player, though, here, trying to keep up the pressure. Here we go, Hato, a bump almost on Illusion. Chicago getting a nice contest again. They are just ruthless right now. Hato down to Zol, but Seabass will get there. Oh, Illusion nearly getting beat out for that. A minute 30 left for FIBEON to try and tie this up. If not, Allegiance will take the series and move on. Can FIBEON find their vengeance? Chicago keeping that out of the midfield, pushing it into the half of Allegiance. 2 going up. Ty opting to bail, but not in a great place now. He's able to clear the next shot. Zol alone, stuck with Illusion. Illusion somehow getting that demolition midair. Hato out to Chicago, but he's got to be careful. Uh-oh. Not the best touch from Zol, a little unfortunate, but we will see them gain a little bit of control, just not long enough. Allegiance will contest that 1 minute left. Allegiance up by 1, looking to win the series.
They can't clear the ball out of their zone. They're getting away from the team plays, and wide open is the net. Seabass striking again. There it is, Allegiance with a 2-goal lead, under a minute to go.
Chicago and Zol, both just that half decision. Chicago couldn't get there in time, so then instead of dropping back to net, he goes for the midfield for boost, which means they were getting a little bit smothered. And now we'll see Allegiance 2 goals up, 49 seconds remaining. A quick goal from FIBEON will keep this game a close contest.
And they tried to open it up with a fake kickoff. Didn't work. They needed a quick one. They need to get this next one in the next 15 seconds, or this game is going in favor of Allegiance, who just scored again.
3 goals up with only 30 seconds left. It's looking like Allegiance could be the team to move forward. And FIBEON may be done here and holding their place in the RLRS, looking to dominate next season again, potentially. This was their time to have their vengeance against Allegiance, but it looks like Allegiance is standing strong.
And proving that it wasn't a fluke.
Almost another one. But at this point, FIBEON just has to throw everything out there, every tool, every weapon they have. Throw them to the flames and hope for the best. Chicago to Hato, who puts that near target. They might actually be able to secure this. Couldn't get there in time, not enough boost. And I think it's a little too late at this moment. 10 seconds left. They will not be able to find 3 goals. Chicago just doing what he can. Maybe they'll find 1. He couldn't even get that Illusion there. And Zol missing another shot. Allegiance will move forward in the promotion tournament to find themselves in a promotional game. And FIBEON will hold their spot in the RLRs. They will not be able to get promoted this season.
You know, I just want to say real quick, great try for FIBEON. They put everything on the line. And I'm glad that we're going to get to see them again in the RLRS. You know, I'm a little, you know, they're fun to watch. Unfortunately, didn't bring everything to the table today. And in this last match where Chicago needed to shine, he didn't have a single shot on net until the last second.
It's tough, this pressure, especially, you know, this was really their first season in something with this much pressure in a league that has this much on the line, and this promotion was so much to them. I think it meant a little bit more to them than it did to Allegiance. Allegiance trying to hold their ground and FIBEON wanting to prove that they should have been placed in the RLCS, but they were unable to do so. I think most of the analysts probably kind of put them at the #1 spot here in this promotional tournament, but FIBEON just unable to perform, and Allegiance will be 1 step closer to trying to hold that spot.
Yeah, they've got a lot on the line now because they've got to continue this winning streak and carry on through. But one thing I do know is we have a little thing going on today where the desk is wrong. Yeah, the desk doesn't know what they're talking about.
Honestly, the desk could not be more cursed. Is that 9 wrong predictions so far? Completely 9 wrong predictions. Let's see what they've got to say about it. Back to Axel Toss.
What an incredible series there, going all the way to 7 games between Allegiance and FIBEON, and we see our #1 seed from the Rival Series, arguably the best chance the Rival Series had to get a team up there in the Championship Series, falling. FIBEON, super hot coming into this weekend, is your first team out of the RLCS promotion tournament. Let's take a look at the Mobile One High Performance replay. I'm shocked, personally. I was expecting a lot more from FIBEON, especially how awesome they looked during the regular season. This was their chance to push it to the next level, the chance that they lost to Allegiance originally in the play-in. But they weren't able to get it done, and Allegiance moving on to the next match.
And FIBEON, they led the Rival Series 3.3 goals per game, and Allegiance defense was the worst in the RLCS, 2.7. Yet FIBEON scores 8 goals in 7 games, completely unacceptable at this level. You are never going to win a 7-game series by scoring 1.1 goal per game. And it happened again. Last time they played Allegiance, they only scored 3 goals in 3 games, and Allegiance just knows, just be patient, let FIBEON play to you. And FIBEON had 0 infield passing throughout the entire series.
Yeah, exactly. That last point you said about the infield passing, Gibbs, that was what took this FIBEON team that's been so strong in RLRS. And even today, they've been having a great performance so far throughout the tournament, but we just saw them crumble against Allegiance, just not enough passing, giving the ball time and time again. And for everyone out there who doesn't think that team play matters in Rocket League, there you go. We saw FIBEON, a team that started the day off really well, a lot of teamwork, a lot of just being patient, looking for each other before they look to bring the ball down the field. And that's what led Allegiance to success. We saw them just playing so patiently, punishing all the giveaways, losing possession. FIBEON was, I mean, it was just a mess, really, for FIBEON. A little bit unfortunate for them. A day to forget.
But this whole entire tournament, this is the biggest surprise by far. Everyone that you asked would be like, it's kind of a toss-up for that second spot.
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone's like, FIBEON is going to make it in. And now, for them to come in fourth to lose both series, absolutely crazy.
It's brutal, and remembering, I think the last series we had Chicago mess it up in overtime, right? And this series started with Chicago getting a couple clutch goals in the first 2 games, but even so, they weren't able to pull it through. And FIBEON is going to have to go back to the rival series, but I don't think there's any doubt in my mind they'll be back. It's just for them, I guess. It's a young team, very young team. I guess they just have to figure out their mentality going into these really big weekends where these matches are so important. Because I think that might be the separation, where we're seeing a super solid play, but then when it really, really matters, just not able to pull through. But all the credit to Allegiance, able to get that victory there. Huge testament to them. They're going to be moving on to a decider match. But first, we're going to be crowning our first team into the next season from these matches, as our next match is a best of 7 to determine our first team from this weekend to advance to the next season of RLCS. It is Out of Style going up against Renegades. Again, a best of 7. It's very important for every single player on the field. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.